He begged the owner to reduce a little price. But the owner of the restaurant threw the lunchbox into the toilet again. Throwing it away is better than feeding him. Listen. Okay. Don't bother others anymore. Go right away. Okay. I'll go right away. There is no other way. I had to go to the Hexagon to earn a form. Fortunately, the next day, while singing the line in the street, he met his father. This time he will definitely have lunch. But his father was broken and walked quickly, afraid of his son chasing him. But he was discovered. My dad is dumbfounded. Try to hide the hide, embarrassed in his heart. But my son still spoke up, words that made him awkward. My son said it's almost Christmas. You can go home to eat rice with family? Not yet in time for the boy to speak. Stepmother hurriedly refused. His eyes were full of contempt, not paying attention to low status of this stepchild. She couldn't stand the smell. The stench came out of the 10 brothers. But even so, when leaving, his father still secretly gave him a bill. It is an expression of remorse in his heart. But he didn't give up because of that, because he appreciates family affection very much. On Christmas Day, he really went to his father's house quietly. After thinking carefully, he still decided to take care of the difficult door. But when the door opens, smile on Dad's face suddenly froze. Instead, there was surprise and confusion. When he walked into the living room, hoped to feel the warmth, pressure and acceptance of the family. But what awaits him is the cold, search and desert of the 2 sisters. Mom didn't like him. My mother said that he was a skeptic. And Dad also showed his dissatisfaction. I can't be here. We also have guests coming. Perhaps the coldness and sting Dad's poke made him, feeling unbearable pain, expressed in words. He was forced to leave the house that he was supposed to. It turns out that he has a place in it. But when he returned to the motel room, his shabby to bathe, the bedroom emitted strange noises. It should be known that he lives alone in this room. Obviously, the house has pillars. He was afraid to wear his shoes. Hurriedly stood up. Come on. It's best to leave right away. He clearly showed his fear that cannot be concealed. His body doesn't do it on its own either. The owner can wear shoes. In a panic, he grabbed his shoe. I make weapons. But when pushing the door of the room, sleeping, there is no one. When he was confused, prepare to run into the kitchen for consideration. Then the thief made a cry again. It turned out to be a cute yellow cat. He breathed a sigh of relief. It turns out that you made that noise? Perhaps the kindness in the village. June's personality motivates him. Or maybe it's because of bad experiences. Bad when they have suffered from other hunger. That made him feel very sympathetic too. The little cat accidentally got lost in his house. He didn't choose to chase it away, go like everyone else. Instead, without hesitation, pour out all the remaining milk in the house for him to drink. He couldn't stop looking at the cat. The crowd was lost in thought. This is the first time he has been in contact with it, close to another animal. But soon after, he became sad again, because he guessed that the golden cat, this is just accidentally lost, not abandoned by his family like him. Someone must be worried about you. So, after eating prematurely, James opened the window to see him home. But what surprised him is a golden cat, as if he didn't want to leave the lies, this temporary drive. He turned his head to look at James with a look in his eyes, full of poor attachment. Maybe because I'm so lonely. James decided to keep it for one night. When the night is quiet, James couldn't even hold back. Sing a song to the cat. He uses self-composed melodies to tell about the story of 2 lonely souls. When the bedtime lullaby ends, the golden cat jumped without any guard, went to his bed, and fell asleep. Early the next morning, James led the cat to ask one house at a time. But unfortunately, there are no houses. Get this cute cat. In the end, James had to be released. It returns to the wild. Naturally, he vaguely realized that the cat can be a feral cat. There was a time when he was moved with sympathy. But the harshness of reality forces him have to face a truth. He is still difficult to raise. Live by yourself. Where to take care of a cat. However, their fate, it doesn't end there. After advancing the cat, James went out to the street and finished singing. But today's work is not very smooth. He had just laid out his clothes, were coldly chased away by the guards. When night falls, he returned home, tired, and suddenly saw the yellow cat sitting at the door. When he approached, he found that the cat was injured. He hurriedly laughed at his coat, carefully hugged the cat. Because I couldn't find the owner of the cat, he had to ask the neighbor's girl for help. Betty also gave first aid to the wound. the cat's blindness. Then she advised James to take the cat, as soon as possible, went to a private hospital for further treatment. Fortunately, the cat were quickly cured. James was also somewhat relieved. But when he thanked the doctor, and prepared to leave, receptionist's words, startled him. The treatment is free, but the medicine has to be paid. She cost up to £22 sterling for medicine. For a homeless person like you, that's really a huge number. Here's my food for next week. If you want to buy it. As those who are as good as they are, the more unbearable the pain, suffering, and injustice in life, he still decided to use the number. Security deposit for the week came in exchange for the health of the golden cat. But bigger trouble still awaits. The golden cat doesn't seem to understand your kindness. He refused to take the medicine. In front of James's kindness, the yellow cat bit his hand again. While I didn't know what to do, he had to ask Betty for help again. Unexpectedly, when it came into Betty's hands, the cat became extremely obedient again. She easily gave the cat medicine. While they were talking, they gave the cat. The cute name is Bob. Thanks to Bob's appearance, James and Betty get started, chat more. Betty tells James that the district many people are addicted to mythoi. And the thing she hates the most in the world is those scary addictive substances. When asked about James' condition, James says that he's a freelance artist, have not signed a contract with any company. He said that only because he didn't want Betty to despise her. Actually, James is a street singer and is also a longtime addict. During the day, he makes some money by finishing singing. At night, use that money to take little fun for a short time. Life with him seems to have no relationship, and there is no happiness either. Although he tried to escape from the shackles of fate and give up bad habits that have dragging him into the quagmire, but dozens of attempts are all ended in failure. Sometimes, friends invite him to spend the night in the car and share with Belle the things that you are familiar with, but irresistible. James often shook his head in denial. But the next morning, he found himself lying in love in the car again. It seems James' life stopped here. But fortunately, now there is a small cat. The next day, James still went out to the street to sing as usual, but Bob followed him without leaving half a step. He was worried that he wouldn't. Good care for Bob. When you go out, you should leave it. Stay in the block. But the golden cat is too. Wrapping up should be sneaky. Sneakily followed James and jumped on the bus. The passengers were all attacked by the cat. This adorable little maid, for emotional and he, are all smiling friendly. The atmosphere in the car is also become cozy. Bob didn't see James on the first floor, so he was worried. Calmed down and ran to the second floor to search. Finally, he saw the master there. James had to put it up in front of the car window so that it can see the crowded city. To stop Bob from running around, the assistant gave him a rope to make a rope for Bob. When they got out of the car, pushed by the crowd, Bob looked around warily. It uses its curious eyes to explore this new world. James was worried that Bob would be panicked, so he was relieved. Sit down for Bob to easily jumped on his shoulder, and just like that, a magical couple, a person and a cat were born. Passers-by every day is usually not pay attention to this young man. But now, this special couple is again attract all eyes. Everyone suddenly stopped walking and smiled, radiant with this special couple. Passers-by approached one after another, asked to take a photo with them. People generously donate to support and encourage them. And each time, Bob nodded like a little star. After the performance, James got a decent moment. In just one day, his income has been larger than the week before. Come on, smash your hand. You know what's going on. You're really a lovely creature. When dusk falls, they returned home together on the bus. James also carefully chooses for Bob a very brand new car. Not only that, they also went to the supermarket together too. Bob chooses his own canned food, my favorite. From then on, pedestrians in London every day all witness this scene. A man with an uncle. Yellow cats performing on the street. They tell negative stories. His unique music. Sometimes the cat procrastinates, sitting on the guitar, as if it was also dissecting for music. Sometimes he sat silently beside his master, sharing peaceful moments. Their performance gradually attracted the more attention and love. James's life is also quiet, into orbit. At the same time, James and Betty began to reciprocate more together. The relationship between them is quiet, become closer. But on that day, a friend of Ng Nam James came to him. He knew that James was living quite well. So I want to be called by him. James flatly refused this request, but the friend still did not give up, begging him to give me some money to eat. Although James felt unsatisfied, but he knew he couldn't. That behavior. He advises you not to use money to buy those harmful things. However, when he returned home in the evening, he discovered what he feared the most has come true. The daytime friend now, lying motionless on the floor. Next to it is a needle. Used injections. James's injection fell to the bottom of the abyss. He immediately realized that this was love, coma due to overdose. He hurriedly called for help. The people around him. Betty hears his cry for help and hurriedly ran over. She quickly bent down to observe the condition of the other friend, then quickly implement grants, saved to try to save his life. However, when the ambulance arrived, the friend went into cardiac arrest and was no longer breathing. The doctors tried their best, but could not save him. This scene made James and Betty falling into deep pain. They witnessed a sudden life, leaving and their hearts full of shock and sadness, indescribable pulp, in that gloomy atmosphere. Betty also confessed her secret in her heart. The reason she hates parliamentarians. It was so flooded because her brother was also one of them. Her brother was a talented painter, but since sticking to my Thuy, he had become depressed and desperate. Even if you die in the bathtub, he still had needles inserted in his body. The quality of a friend and show the heartbreaking story of Mole. Betty is a powerful punch into James' heart. He is determined to be spicy again, addiction and redoing life, but he didn't dare to tell Betty that. He is also an addict. So, with great determination, James went to the doctor, hoping to stop the work completely. Use of anti-addictive drugs. He wants to rely on a strong will to be completely addicted. However, the doctor completely disagrees with his request and seriously reminded him that he was addicted. It is not an overnight thing. Many people have failed in final stage. The doctor advised James to process compliance, treatment with care, and after re-evaluation, she will make a plan for him. The spicy and addictive plan is more suitable. But when James came to pick it up, anti-addictive drugs, he ran into Betty. But addicts used to cheat, right in front of me. The evil fire in Betty's heart flared up immediately. She didn't hesitate to leave the place. James hurriedly wanted to explain, but Betty was completely lost. Nyem believed in him. She didn't want to be nagging any addict. Their relationship also ended from there, but things didn't go well. James's career is also expected soon. When he was performing on streets as usual, a presumptuous man scolds the dog passing by and he put the dog peeing in James's pocket. The owner of the dog also showing contempt. That cry made the audience fake around lies. Not long after, the incident from pushing each other has become a brawl. The police came to intervene that time. Although the surveillance camera saw that James was innocent, but he was still banned from performing on streets within 6 months. When love and career frying bullets at the same time, James falls into a distant state for a few months. When people are immersed in their own weakness, they will become weaker and weaker. There will be times when they will collapse on the road, street under everyone's gaze, fell to the ground, even collapsed in a low place, more than the ground. His mental state was terrible, to the point that it couldn't be worse. Darkness once again envelops, overlapping his life. When you look out the window, you can see prohibited cellars, pressure and endless urges. He broke his promise to himself. He walked straight to the salesman. Buy a dose. Everything is there. But when the words came to the mouth, James still suppressed his emotions. Sorry for the disturbance. Now beside James there was only Bob. It becomes a source of encouragement, his only god. James knew he could starve. But my cat didn't. So he tried to stand up and found a job selling newspapers. Unexpectedly, Bob's fortune continued to take effect. James's work is still very prosperous. The cute appearance of the golden cat as an attractive magnet. Everyone stopped and watched. Even if they don't need to buy magazines, but still willing to spend a few dollars to brought close to this cat. Bob was also very obedient, always ready to take photos with customers. Its obedience and cuteness have making more and more people love them. Even journalists began to pay attention to, referring to this special couple. They also want to write an article about the sentence, the touching story of the Vosaku people, and the wildcat saves the mix, each other to be online. When the job sells magazines become more lucrative, James's life also gradually back into orbit. In just a few days, He became a spectacle, prominent on the streets of London. But the joy doesn't last. Every time, James's life, beginning spring, then unexpected challenges come. That day, they met a mother-daughter couple. The boy liked Bob very much, and begging my mother to buy Bob for me. The woman couldn't refuse her son. Immediately began to force James. She said that income of James is unstable. Wild cats living with humans. Vosaku will suffer. She offers a large amount of money to show sincerity, but James, the decision was refused. No matter how much money. He also didn't want to sell Bob. Because Bob is not his pet, but his family. Angry woman and throws. Magazine is down. The sudden noise made Bob panic reaction. It struggles to jump off its shoulder so James and fled. There is also a dog in the back. Fierce incense chased after him. James realized it was too late. He ran everywhere looking. But the province is all stupid. Whisper in the city. He still couldn't see Bob's figure. A week has passed. James never stopped looking for Bob. He is not in the mood to work. Also do not dare to rest. His spirit almost collapsed. Chief Xuan was also quietly beating him. The doctor advised him to control his emotions. Otherwise all previous efforts will become a dance. In desperation, James holds the guitar that there is no singing fragrance. He looked at Bob's plate, and the heart is full of emptiness. Drug sellers outside the window seemed to be beckoning to him. That scary thought appeared in his mind. But when I think about Bob's cuteness and deep affection for it, James once again suppressed his emotions. I'm looking for my cat. A golden cat. Did you see it? The other person's eyes all the time. It's already about the same time as you. But fortunately he got married. Calm. Life is often harsher than we think. But maybe this is a gift of heaven for you. When he returned home tired, suddenly heard a familiar sound. Bob, hello, where have you been? Oh, Bob, indescribable joy all over his body. He was secretly determined in his heart that he would never lose Bob again. You can be a priceless person, but his cat didn't. To bring a better life to Bob and for his own life. James thinks he's ready to stop taking the drug. I know it's going to be a tough journey, but for Bob's sake, he is willing to endure anything. The doctor said that during the week, first stop the drug, the body will experience unimaginable pain. The pain is 100 times worse than the flu, but James decided. Previously, he used to wander the streets and has never been noticed by anyone. But now, with Bob by his side, people aren't just proactive or talking to you, but also respectfully call him Bob's master. This respect and acknowledgement makes he is even more determined to change. What can't kill you will make you stronger. Before stopping the drug, James found Betty. He apologized to her for hiding it before, and promised to compensate after he succeeded. However, Betty in the room did not. In response to his words, James had to leave sadly. At that moment, Betty opens the door and says that in Kyle, this week she will bring him food. But James didn't want to bother her. First, he wants to take care of himself, bear their mistakes. Second, he didn't want Betty seeing bad looks, harm, when encountering a detoxification reaction. After preparing to wake up, eat for a week, James begins the fight song, Paralysis to Themselves. At first, he tried to use playing the piano, and play with rubber bands to distract attention. But soon, he began to become foxy, restless. He shrugged his hand, lying on the floor. The body convulses constantly, as if there were thousands of ants was gnawing on his body. When muscles are most severe, he even had hallucinations. But even so, the master was crazy. Bob didn't run away. He was silent, should be by his side. Time passed. James seemed to lose his senses. He bathed in the cold water, but did not feel cold. Tomorrow, Bob's cry kept dragging. He came back from exhaustion. Gradually, James's condition began to improve, until one morning when he woke up. The sun spreads all over the body. It was pleasant and warm. James looking at the side view, riverbanks and cold. It seems that this world has not changed at all, but it feels like everything has been completely changed. After recovery, what James craves the most is love. The body has been separated for a long time. He immediately went to find his father, happy to announce that have successfully sung spiders. After that, he apologized to his father for his mistakes throughout the years. His father looked at the child as if he had just been reborn. I could hardly believe my eyes. Mr. Jun took out a picture from his wallet, photo that he has kept for a long time. That is the image of James as a child, with a loose smile and clear eyes. Blend out over the years. His father has always been silent. Miss her son? No. Just because of the fortifications in the family, and the intervention of the second. He cannot perform his responsibilities well, the responsibility of a father. Dad has never given up on me. Dad felt ashamed of himself. I don't know how to be a good father. The person who has to apologize should be the father. Misunderstanding between father and son, finally resolved. Jack, who are you talking to? He was talking to his son, and his son's little cat. With a joke, any distance between father and son have completely disappeared. From then on, all good things began to come to him. James received an invitation from the publisher. They planned to write a book about. He and Bob are the main characters. The book was quickly published and immediately hot gradually. Release date. People queue up in front of the bookstore. Betty also receives an invitation to come. Congratulations on James's success. I am very proud of him. How are you? Thanks for coming. Doctors, dads, and fans. The Graves were all present here. They witnessed the miracle that James and Bob created. Cocoon flowers into butterflies need a lot of hardship. The revision of the rules also needs an extraordinary courage. After the book signing ceremony, another named James also came to say hello. It seems that I myself have experienced it myself through all these moments. Good. Very good. After becoming famous, James still hasn't forgotten his background. He continued to perform on the street, did not leave Bob. They walked all over the streets, together to inspire the respect of people for the people of Osaka. This story is really simple, but if it is true then, is not simple. Actual. People who appeared at the signing ceremony. The book is James in real life. And Bob in the movie is also the real cat in real life. This has certainly brought many emotions, more real and touching for the movie. Sometimes the affection between people and precious animals, more than the love between man to man. The versatile Bob has become who is close to James. So when Bob went missing, James became so desperate. When Bob was frightened by the big dog on the street, James will protect it with a price tag. Life is like that. We will encounter obstacles, and we'll also meet different people. There are obstacles that will make you fall, but there will always be someone to help you cross the quagmire. So, the theme of this movie is, happiness is not the destination, but a bumpy road. And Bob is the guide to help you find that shortcut. We need to keep the heartbeat until someone feels it. Kind people are like gifts. They enter your darkness, touches your heart. But Bob passed away a few years ago, due to car accidents. Bob's life stopped at the age of 14. James was deeply grieved. Finally, he wrote a sentence. A ray of light.
Enjoyed the video? Hit subscribe, drop a like, share with your crew, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk movies.